Almost every TV show sticks to its original genre from beginning to end, regardless of its success, but there have been some popular shows that ended up switching genres at some point. It would be natural to think that a TV show's genre is fixed from the beginning, and that's correct in most cases, but there are some cases where a genre switch is necessary. The reasons for a TV show to switch genres at some point can vary. Some happen organically, as that's where the story leads, others are forced to do so to survive, and others unfortunately lose their path at some point. Not all genre switches in TV shows have been bad, but some were truly unfortunate and unnecessary. The Umbrella Academy 4 seasons. The Umbrella Academy is based on the comic book of the same name by Gerard Way and Gabriel B.A. The Umbrella Academy follows the title team, formed by the Hargreaves, 7 adopted siblings, each of them with unique superpowers. The Hargreaves carry a lot of trauma, but they have to team up again to stop the apocalypse, a mission repeated every season. The Umbrella Academy started as a dark fantasy superhero TV show with a heavy dose of drama, and stood out for being a lot darker and relatable than most superhero stories at the time. However, the Umbrella Academy gradually became more comedic, the drama became confusing, and the fantasy was nonsensical, culminating in a disappointing final season and finale. Lucifer 6 seasons courtesy Netflix via Moviestills DB. Lucifer is an urban fantasy horror TV series based on DC Comics character of the same name. Lucifer introduced the audience to Lucifer Morningstar, Tom Ellis, the powerful archangel who was cast out of heaven and forced to spend eternity as the Lord of Hell. Bored and unhappy with life in hell, Lucifer decided to abdicate his throne and move to Los Angeles. There, he ran his own nightclub, but after being involved in a murder case, he started working with the Los Angeles Police Department, using his unique charm and skills to make anyone tell him their deepest desires. Lucifer started as a procedural drama, which made it so engaging, but it ended up transforming into a fantasy drama with just a touch of crime. Boy Meets World 7 seasons. Boy Meets World is a coming-of-age sitcom created by Michael Jacobs and April Kelly. Boy Meets World follows Corey Matthews, Ben Savage, an 11-year-old middle school student who isn't afraid to speak his mind. The show follows Corey's family life and also his school life, accompanied by his best friend Sean, Ryder Strong, and Corey's crush, Topanga, Danielle Fishel. Boy Meets World follows Corey, Sean, and Topanga from childhood into their young adult years, going through many ups and downs in all areas of their lives. As such, Boy Meets World went from family sitcom to more of a drama show, with more mature, and even darker, at times, themes and situations, fitting with the audience that grew up alongside the characters. Lost 6 seasons. One of the best TV shows of all time also had a genre switch at one point. Created by Jeffrey Lieber, J.J. Abrams, and Damon Lindelof, Lost follows the survivors of a plane crash, who are now stranded on a remote island in the South Pacific. Together, they must learn to survive in the strange conditions of the island, with flashbacks to their pasts and flash-forwards to the future. Lost is also one of those TV shows with a controversial ending, and the show in its first seasons is very different from how it is at the end. Lost started as a survival drama, but the island was revealed to have many supernatural mysteries that ended up turning the show into a sci-fi drama, focusing more on those mysteries rather than on their mission to survive and return home. Riverdale 7 seasons. Riverdale went from being a teen drama with great potential to one of the biggest disappointments of the decade. Based on the characters from Archie comics, Riverdale follows the lives of Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead. Riverdale had a strong start with its dark approach to these characters, who, in the comics, are the complete opposite. Riverdale started as a teen drama with a generous dose of crime and mystery, but as the show progressed, it began to merge different genres. The problem with that was that nothing made sense anymore. Towards its end, Riverdale became a supernatural show and part of a multiverse, completely losing the essence of the first seasons. Sherlock 4 seasons. The BBC brought Sherlock Holmes into the modern world in Sherlock, created by Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat. Sherlock followed the great detective, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and his best friend and partner, John Watson, Martin Freeman, as they solved different mysteries in modern-day London. Sherlock had a strong start in its first 2 seasons, but it crashed and burned after season 2's finale. Sherlock had one of the most frustrating declines in its final 2 seasons, with a nonsensical finale that left too many plot holes and unanswered questions. Even worse, Sherlock went from an engaging detective show to a full-on drama with a couple of badly developed mysteries here and there, which heavily contributed to the show's decline. Parks and Recreation 7 seasons. Parks and Recreation is one of the best workplace comedies of all time, but to get there, it had to go through a necessary genre switch. Created by Greg Daniels and Michael Schur, Parks and Recreation takes the audience to Pawnee, Indiana, to meet Leslie Knope, Amy Poehler, and her friends and colleagues at the Parks Department. Parks and Recreation has an infamously bad first season, and it was initially a mockumentary, very much like The Office, as it was originally planned to be a spin-off of that show. However, as Parks and Rec progressed and the show found its own voice, it gradually switched from mockumentary to an ensemble series and workplace sitcom. This genre switch worked perfectly for Parks and Rec and helped it set itself apart from The Office, while also contributing to it making it to 7 seasons that were nothing like that weak first season. Buffy the Vampire Slayer 7 seasons. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of the best fantasy TV shows of all time, and its genre switch was a positive one. Created by Joss Whedon, Buffy the Vampire Slayer introduces Buffy Summers, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the latest in a succession of young women known as Vampire Slayers, who are chosen by fate to battle against vampires, demons, and other forces of darkness. Buffy the Vampire Slayer starts as a teen horror show, with Buffy and her friends attending high school, but the show is one of those that grew up with its audience, just like Boy Meets World. Buffy the Vampire Slayer gradually turned into more of a fantasy drama, with more mature and even darker storylines fitting with the characters' ages and problems. M*A*S*H 11 seasons. M*A*S*H is a war TV show based on Richard Hooker's 1968 novel MASH, a novel about 3 army doctors, and the 1970 movie of the same name. M*A*S*H followed the members of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, who looked after the injured during the Korean War.